Maureen. Oh, Maureen. How's it going, Maureen? How constructed do you think human society is? Let's switch to English. So, how constructed do you think human society is? Um, that's a good question. And I will assume that by constructed, you mean like we created that invention, like it's a construction, let's say. Um, and I think it's a lot. I so my whole idea, like I'd say, like a big chunk of my philosophy is reflected in the book *Sapiens* by Yuval Noah Harari, and I will simplify a lot, but we're animals, right? Like we're animals on Earth. That's what we are. That's it. But then we invent all these things like, no, I'm not an animal. Look, I have a little bow tie, like we do with dogs. To just like, no, he's not a dog. I named him and put him a bow tie, and he's there with like his little bow tie, pissing on a pole and eating his friend's poop, And that's pretty much what we are. That's like as close to what we are. Dogs and us, like, we share a lot. We share the same houses. We share everything. But we are very good at talking shit. We're incredible at talking shit. We're like, no, I will invent all these things, like we're the people of the sun. No, we're like the people of the mountains. No, we're Canadians or Quebecois, and all these things is all like stuff that we invent. And so I think that we invented a lot of stuff to the point that those inventions that we did, they take up more space in our life than the real truth, kind of, that we're just like animals roaming the forest of Earth, like eating stuff and then like pooping and then dying. That's pretty much what we do. So how constructed do you think human society is? Totally. Totally. The only thing that I'm kind of like, that's real, is our cities. We kind of built that. So that's where we sleep. That's our little, like in French, we say niche à chier. That's our, we poop and die. That's it. That's what we do. So I think it's very, very, very constructed. But the cities, I do think they exist. And the countries, they exist much, much less. So the city, if you look on Google Map, like from above, you see a hole, like a construction thing. You can go and hit it. It will create a sound. So that's my big test to know, like, does it exist? Yes, it does. So cities, they have like a vibe attached to them, and like in philosophy they say subjectivities, so we're subjectivities of where we come from, and that's pretty much the cities or the collection of cities where we come from. Then countries, I tend to think that they don't exist at all. They just like put a line, like this is the line. It was decided by the Pope in like 250 years ago, and now we're like, ooh, the line. We're people from this side of the line. Like, that's funny to me. Like, it's funny to me that I was like, I wanted to create a new line or an existing line, but to say, no, we have a country. Look, we have a little passport to prove that we are a country. And at some point I was like, who gives a shit? To be honest, like, it doesn't exist. So I'm just like trying to create an invention that nobody wants. It's an invention anyway. uh, so borders, and they're so stupid. And then every line that we kind of created, like, this is my land, it's like, oh, this is some guy's land. But how is it your land? Well, we put it in the registry of land, and this, like, this entire thing, it's kind of weird and stupid. Maureen, tell Dominic that Gab and me say a big hello. He's gonna hate it. Yes. Say that, please. Cities are massive villages, but totally different. Yeah, fuck nationalism. Uh, so interesting thing, we went to a dog sledding company recently, and over there they have a but they're paired with two dogs together, and it's a pack of like 25 individual like in the pack, and then there's the chief, and it's like fascinating to see their interaction together. And I was looking at their pack and their little like houses, so they have like a they can go see their neighbors but cannot go like that far because they're still attached, but they're put in like they're freed every day for a big long walk next to the river. That was overwhelming, like to have like 25 150-pound dog running around you. And I was looking at them in their little cities, little like because they have like a road here and there. They can go see their neighbors, but over there, it's like this guy is the mayor, more or less. And I was like looking at that, and then I was driving back home. I was looking at like our houses and our little village and collection of things. I was like, it's really the same, to be honest. We keep telling ourselves that no, we're not animals. I have a name. I'm not an animal. Look, I have a bow tie. But I mean, look at us and look at what we do. Oh my god. Well, so we just switched to English, I guess. So if you guys want to ask me stuff in English, that's it. We're doing English now. And I guess we switched to English around 50 minutes. So later I'll be trying to create content with that. And should I add destination now that we switched to English? Yes, I will remove that one. I will add that one. What's that? Ah, since we're talking English, I will add LinkedIn. You know what? LinkedIn is let's talk business. On LinkedIn, it's very business. It's very English. Here, I just added a bunch of destinations. So, perfect. Let's talk about business and owning an hotel. Hey, Jeannie, greeting from Shanghai. How's life in Shanghai? Uh, I I sadly like not funny, not so funny thing. The flight that I used to take to go to Thailand was Montreal, Shanghai. Then I would, as you know, like spend a few days with you there, and then continue my way to Southeast Asia. They removed that flight, I think, because of the war in Ukraine, that it would like go above Russia all the way down to China, and they don't want to fly above Russia. I think now, not so sure why they removed it. Maybe COVID, but they removed it. So now it sucks because I we have to go by Europe, then it adds many hours of flight time, and it sucks because I can't go back. Can't go like I can go see you in Shanghai, but now it's not like my traditional stop on the way. Um, so yeah, and thanks for the input and for the French lesson. It's my pleasure. Anytime. I'll hope to do that again. And oh, Kim, greetings from Miami. That's it, living the life. Are you a married woman? Do you cook and do you cook your famous chicken? Yeah, I flew Air Canada to Vancouver to Montreal. Still no direct flight to the East Coast after COVID. Sucks. I love the direct flight, like right above the North Pole. Bam, 12 hours here in Shanghai. Like that sucks. But how'd you love Montreal again? You have a deep connection with Montreal. But you're still in Shanghai for the long run. Well, Daryl, you can ask me questions because I'm feeling my brain is. Oh, how did you decide to become an hotel owner? I On my first trip when I went to Europe mainly, I loved hostel. I thought they were a collection of like people from everywhere in the world. I thought they were great, and I was like, kind of wow, I could start one, let's say in Montreal, and then live more or less as a what like a even when I'm home, I could. It feels like I'm traveling. That was my idea, and it was like that was pretty much the idea. I was like, okay, I must like where do I start? And then I did that whole thing that I always say that you should do if you want to start a project. It's just like uh, just like do it, And that was why I decided to become an hotel owner. It was like to feel like I'm traveling all the time, and I loved the communal kitchen vibes. They're a great place to hang out. So it was not that much more complicated. And then I was an entrepreneur. I was like, oh, I must have a project. Oh, I must make money. Oh, I must be a grandiose man. What do you enjoy most about owning an hotel? So the there's two things. Like, let's say I'm a capitalist, so there's always the like capital part, whether it's money or like capital. It's an entrepreneurial project. But the thing that I enjoy the most, I still haven't been able to do a lot of it, but it's like being able to kind of decide and change a land. Oh man, that's cool. Babe, also buildings, you're like, all right, here's what we have, and here's what we'll do. And just stupid stuff, but let's say we went down, it was a swamp down in the land, and we went, drain it, put grass. Like now it's a big grass thing. We put a fireplace, then bring people there. It didn't work. So then last summer we were like, well, this is ours then. And then we made a path in the wood, put the apples there for the deer to eat. And then you kind of decide what you want to do here. You're like, oh shit, now I am the boss, because growing up, you're always like, oh, it'd be cool to own a place and to be creative with it, you know, to have a forest and to actually do something with it. Like that's kind of always the dream. And but then in real life, it's very hard to reach a point where you can. Uh, Even if you buy it, you're still like, I don't have resources to do it, and if I do it, I will lose all my resources. It's very hard to create that like creative possibility, let's say. But we did a few changes like tiny houses, like a path. They we're improving the thing here, and that's what I enjoy the most about owning an hotel. And the day that I will have like a pelle mécanique, like a thing to create the land, like okay, let's put a little thing, a little lake, a little thing here that will be very, very cool. Do you own new places that I should know about? I probably don't. So here's what I own. I own the hotel, like here. I own a house next to it, just at the corner. It's the staff accommodation. So it's the guy's house. They're all in the house. It's our neighbor. So we bought our neighbor. The whole house became for sale. Bought it, and then I have a land in Mexico that I wanted to do tiny house and camping and stuff. We bought the land, built a tiny house, built a few platform and path through the land, which is great. And then we stopped, and I was like, no, 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 I don't want to. I don't want to operate a camping in Mexico. So we stopped there, and now we have a tiny house on a land in the jungle of Mexico, near Puerto Morelos, which is like between Cancun and Playa del Carmen and the Riviera Maya, and that's what I own. And I think I will stop there, to be honest, for a little while. Now I want to own movable stuff. So I own six tiny houses with the hotel, and I want to own like more of those things. I would like to own a small roulotte, like their trailer. There is three types of trailers that I really like. They're all old school. One is called a bowler, the other a trillium. I think both were made in Canada. I'm not so sure. And they're like a little round. They, they kind of look like a Westphalia, old school Westphalia. And also the Airstream. Like that's cool. And I would like to go on an adventure with it. And then I would own new land. I would just rent. I arrive somewhere. I'd like, but sometimes if you can arrive on a land and kind of like occupy it without building a building on it, then it's very cheap. And then the cities they don't like it so much, but it's your land and you can do whatever. But at some point they're like, you have to build a house. Then you take your stuff and you go away. Because the thing is, I really like owning land part. I don't like owning real estate that much. It's cool. I have some, but I have enough. Then owning real estate, it's like the pain in the ass factor is real. It's very real. But when it comes to land, it's just land is land. So it's very easy. What type of guests do you cater to at your hotel? I like to joke that we're the IKEA of hotel in the Charlevoix, but it's I really think it like I we have some incredible like apartment style with a view, and we have a dorm. So it's kind of like how everyone goes to IKEA because it's like it's very hard to beat. It's just like the price is incredible. The quality, the ratio price quality is unbeatable. But that's how I think about it. We're the IKEA of hotel in Charlevoix, so we cater to almost everyone, but not like the super expensive stuff. So that's like somewhere else. We're for the normal people, let's say. So the super expensive stuff is like Germain with a restaurant or Le Fermont, like that's for them. You get a piano player when you enter. At Nosair, it's more like you get a button at the reception. It's more for normal people. There's a communal kitchen. You cook your own meal yourself. What sets your hotel apart from others in the area? Uh, we have an incredible view, and the ratio of price quality is very, very good. So I think that it's kind of like our two biggest strength. It would be that it's like we are an incredible ratio of quality price. Like for the price that we rent our rooms, you get a lot. And also the view is just insane. The view is incredible. Like the luck that I had that in my life, like as a young man, not so young anymore, but still kind of like I have years ahead of me that I was able to buy this. Like, what a luck. What are the most popular amenities or services at your hotel? The communal kitchen, everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. So that's it. It would be the communal kitchen, I think. Um, then the pool. People love the pool. We heat. So it would be the communal kitchen and the pool. Ah, the fireplace. We put a fireplace and we put wood and people make their own fire and the people love that. With the view, it's great. What are your long-term goals for your hotel? I don't know. That's like that's still I'm still working on that because like I can tell you a bunch of long-term thing that would be nice but are not realistic in real life. Now, the real question is what are your long-term goal that would be realistic? I'm not so sure. Can we renovate or we build new or we just have like camping style tiny houses and trailers that are beautiful and then do we have like not sure yet. I'm still working on that. Do you order wood or you cut it from your forest? So we order like funny thing about that. We I bought a hand chainsaw, a hand saw, hand skill saw. I don't know the name. It's like a little Makita thing with a battery, and it's like that big. So you can like, and to be able to go in the forest. And we took some wood out and tried to burn it, and it was like it's kind of not that easy to be honest. Like to not only cut it and take it out, but also like knowing is it like all pourri, let's say? Is it like is it gonna burn or just create like smoke? It is not that easy. And then when you see the price that the guys here sell the woods, they deliver it and everything, it was like, oh my god, we can't compete with that. There's no way that we can compete with that. So we take out a little bit of the wood mainly to clean the forest and make it like nicer, walkable, like I also like there was a wood guy, bûcheron in French, that came and he was like, "Oh, all your trees are dying. Like you should cut them. They're all gonna die pretty soon. So might as well cut them." I was like, "Really? I don't know. Like there's a big tree. It's like, well, they're gonna rot. That's the word. They're gonna rot and die. Okay." And then year after year, I go walk, and he's right. Like they're all slowly rotting and dying, and then falling on the ground and kind of rotting there. Then you can't use them really. So, but I didn't want to really burn it as much as like create wood plank. And he said, "No, forget it. That type of wood it creates like." So it's not that easy to. We have a small, very small forest, and it's not that. But let's say we had like a big forest, it would change very little because had like the equipment and the time and it's like the equipment to take the wood out and you're comparing to the price and you're like wow this is so cheap compared to like doing it yourself. um so what I would do is not really use the wood to either burn it or create wood out of it. It's more like create path and cool chilling spots in the forest. That's more like my goal with the forest. Create some kind of walkable, cool path. Um, so last year we finished the loop. There was a there was a plant like the devil's plant, as I call it. It's like la renouille du Japon in French, Japanese something. It just like it starts like oh, it's kind of cute, and then voila, takes over the entire path. It's fucked up. This is like and this plant can't live here, and there's a problem now that it's everywhere. From here to Quebec, I see it everywhere. It took entire forest and kill everything else. It's like a real problem. So just managing the the plants that are taking over, it's not that easy. How do you foster a positive work culture among your hotel staff? Um, we try to, well, it's like, first of all, the credit all goes to Pamela first, and then David second, and Ali third. And it's like, I tried to create a thing, but then they took it and really made it like, brought it to the next level. So all the credit goes to them. But we have a big communal meal once per week at least. But when Ali wants to cook another, we have like big communal meals with like 14 people around the table. It's pretty cool. And everybody lives together. We do like some activities. We go skiing tomorrow. So activities and the big communal meal, and try to create like a cool environment for people to live and work and chill here. Let's say it's a little special in terms of a business, because you eat and live and work all at the same place. So that's new, you know. In our society is usually like, I work here, but then I leave and I have an entire life away from my work. And it's not like that here. Let's say I live and the reception's right here, and I go and take the shower and come back and meet clients. And it's like, how do you market your hotel to attract a guest? Well, to be honest, booking.com and Airbnb market my hotel. And we just like, they rent the rooms for us. It's like, that business kind of works like that, because people, they will search on Google Map. So then we're there. Like, we have a website, we have like a smart booking system, but really, like, most people, they go on Booking, and that's where they rent the room. So the entire marketing is kind of done by them, and we're just like receiving the guests and try to make sure that they're happy with what they have, like, you know. And also, like, it's not that complicated. Like, good picture, but not too good, and then that's it. That's how we market it. Where do you ski? I heard that to go to Massif, you need to subscribe to Club Med. No, you don't. You don't need to subscribe to the Club Med to go to the Massif. You can buy a ticket, the normal ticket. Last 3 years, I had my ski pass at Le Massif, and yeah, it's a great mountain, incredible mountain. It's very expensive. So this year we spent a bit of time around Montreal. So I got my ski pass at Bromont again this year, like back in the days when I was skiing from Montreal. I skied maybe 10 times. This year wasn't so good for ski. Um, so I didn't go to Le Massif this year because it's like so expensive for a day. It's like $120 or something. It's insane. I think my ski pass for the entire year in Bromont was 300. And next year, we heard about a thing called the Icon Pass, IKON Pass, and we think that we're gonna. Ooh, a cookie.
Oui.
I love cookies. Mm, c'est bon.
Only one for you, though. The rest is for the staff.
No, it's two for me.
No.
One and a half.
No.
C'est bon. Damn. Can you believe my luck? So yeah, you don't need to subscribe, but it's very expensive at Le Massif. So tomorrow we go to ski at Mont Grand Fond, which is near La Malbaie, and it's a smaller mountain, but still like a good mountain and reasonably priced. Is it easy to be profitable? No. You need to. You're like a few mistakes, like my reading. You're a few mistakes away from losing your money. So 2 mistakes, let's say 3 mistakes. Like, let's say 3 mistakes: strike one, strike two, strike three. So if you pay too much for your staff, if you take too long to do your room, if you rent the sheets, if you start a restaurant, those are all strikes. And then you don't make money. So it's not easy, but let's say you have your years of practice, then you can be profitable. I'm not the only one who succeeds in making money in the region. But you have to limit your mistakes, and so it's a challenge, to be honest. What are your thoughts on the impact of automation on job displacement? Do I have a thought on that? I'm like, it's we used to have many humans to do things. Now we have less humans to do those same things, and still everybody has a job. So, weren't machines supposed to kill the work, like in the 1800s? Like, now we have machines, they're gonna kill all the workers. But that didn't happen. Now we have many machines, and we have like operators operating those machines. So it's more like we're able to produce more per unit of hours, but still, it's like it's just like progress works that way. That you invent new tools to do more with like the amount of resources that you have, and somehow it seems to never really kill the number of jobs. It kills some jobs, but creates new ones. Now, if your job is one of the jobs that gets killed, well, can you learn something else? If you can, you'll be fine. What would you tell a new hotel owner the to do and avoid the to do? Um, yeah, good question. Um, so, if you have a restaurant or if you start a restaurant, it's gonna be a loss. It's gonna be a pure loss. You'll lose like $3,000 per month on your restaurant. You can do it. It's not like, but just assume that it's gonna be a loss. Don't create a spreadsheet where you're like, oh, we'll sell 10 steaks per night and then we'll create a profit. Now you won't. Believe me, you won't create a profit with your restaurant. It's just gonna be a pure loss. You can still do it, but just mark it as a loss. And it's a service. A little like the soap. Like we give soap to people. It's a loss. We're not selling the soap. We're giving it. It's a loss. The restaurant will be the same. Even if you charge for the food, still a loss. Okay? So I would say assume that and then don't start a restaurant. It's very hard to do two things at the same time. So an hotel and a restaurant, like I mean, are you Le Germain, let's say, where you own 40 hotels and you can just put your loss on the whatever, let's say. It's like the Winnipeg hotel is making a lot, so who cares? So I'd say that. Then it's kind of like if you can treat your hotel as a house. Let's say you have a house, okay, and you have rooms, um, and you want to rent those rooms. What do? Well, you put furniture in the house, like in the room, take picture, put them on like booking Airbnb, whatever. Then rent them. When people arrive, you're like, "This is your room. This is my kitchen. You can use the kitchen." That's it. So treat it like that. Not more complicated than that. Not less complicated. Let's say like don't say things like, "Well, I will never clean a room." Well, then maybe you're not in the proper business. It's like treat it as your house. This is your house. It's just your giant house. It's not more complicated. It's not less complicated. It's just a house with many rooms. So you get your sheets. You clean your sheets. When they're done, you throw away the sheets. Like it's don't get the complicated hotel stuff. This is not. This is for another league. The rented sheets and stuff like that. It's like for people who's gonna charge a lot. Like you're a new hotel owner, like treat it as a house, and then live for free in your house and don't do a restaurant. That would be my yeah, I guess what I would tell a new hotel owner. Are you a big AI user when you need advices or to automate tasks? Yes. Yes, I am, I guess, a big AI user. We have a few AI to help us. Ask the question that I've been answering this morning is one of them. I mean, Daryl is helping me and Jose. And one of the ways I told them to help was to ask questions to just kickstart I need to practice and everything. And then they don't speak French. I was like, well, AI, it's ask ChatGPT, translate the question. You don't know what question, ask him. And then I started to automate tasks. I started to do code again. Can you believe? With ChatGPT, is just like make a script on PowerShell to like process the video. There was a big thing like you need to drag and drop in DaVinci and then like automate. But not automate. That's a thing. Like it's all manual. So I used ChatGPT to create a script that would process the video, stitch them together, then process them to the proper frame rate slash bit rate that was acceptable for the platform. So for question, for like creating real scripts. And then we created music with Suno. Do you know about Suno? It's crazy shit. So you can tell a genre and you can give lyrics. So for me, it was just instrumental because we needed some music for the like vlog style thing that we were producing. So we used Suno for that. And the next step was going to be editing, which we haven't really used yet because we still have to put it in the process. But we're gonna. What about you guys? Do you use AI to automate tasks? What challenges do you anticipate in starting a business? Um, you'll run out of money. Big challenge. So don't run out of money. Business is like a river of money in a bank account where the flow must never stop. If the flow stops, the business dies. That's the game. It shall never stop. So you need to find a way to keep the flow of money rolling. Sometimes the business doesn't generate enough, then you have to put water yourself in, but it needs to continue. It can never stop. If you are able to, because as soon as it stops, the problem is like you default on your loan and then they take whatever inside a month or two. You would make money in 6 months, but too late. You lost now because you lost money now. And the banks, they like to loan money to people who don't need it. If you need money, then they're like, why would I loan you money? You need money, you're in a terrible situation. But if you don't really need their money, they're like, oh, here's our money. So it's this weird thing where like you have to rely. So if you can find an activity that you can do and start a business that costs nothing to do your years of practice, that's what I did. That's what I am doing this morning. That's my new business project, whatever. I'm not really treating it as a business, but it's like one of the reason why I did that is because once you get the camera, you set up everything, and then bam, the cost is nothing. So you can practice, and there's no real risk of running out of money. So if you can find an activity that you can practice for 10,000 hours without running out of money, yeah, that's good. If like you're starting a cafe and it costs $200,000 to just open the door, yeah, that's kind of maybe skip to the next idea. So you're using AI to write email, doing business plan with AI mostly. and create a new RoboCop scenario for my pleasure. Clarence Bodycare. I love it. Yeah, writing emails and like letters and stuff. Like AI is just, it's too good. It sounds perfect. You're like, this is better than what I would have written, even by putting all my time. You're like, this sentence is better than mine. I also want to feed, like you can have your own GPTs. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is to extract the script and then feed it to, to the to my GPT, and then it will learn to sound exactly like me. Then you're like, perfect. Then this AI can live my life instead of me. The time to borrow is when you don't need it. Yeah, I agree. That's the thing. I've had a call with BDC yesterday, and now we're in a good financial position. So, and at first I talked to them like 2 years ago. They said do one more year. Then I was asking for an amount. They just gave me half. I was asking for like tiny house. They said like you have to put it on the buildings. They had all these conditions last year, so I still accepted. But this year, it's like we're having profits. So kind of like, meh. I mean, we can have the loan if possible, but we can also not have the loan. Like it doesn't matter. So I talked to the guy with that mindset, I guess, for the first time ever, and I could see that they're like now, well, that's great. You really don't need our money, so we're very interested in loaning you now that you don't need it. So that's fucked up. But if you think about it, there's some logic to it. I mean, where does the money that they loan you comes from? It comes from the people who deposit their money in the bank account. Why do the people deposit money in the bank account? They deposit there to not lose it. That's it. That's why you use a bank, because otherwise you would just like put it under your mattress, but you're like, I will lose it. So if I put it in the bank, it's safe. Why is it safe? Because they loan it to people who don't need it. That's it. That's the whole bank thing. So if you're like, no, it shouldn't be like that, it's like, maybe not. Yeah, I agree. Well, I agree. I mean, who's gonna lose then? The government? They're they're doing that. It's called a grant. That's money that you don't have to refund. Like here's for projects that whatever. Let's say just like whatever. Don't pay us back. And that's the thing. A loan and a grant are two different things. And the grant is money that's from the government and it's not made to be paid back. And that's it.